folks. Here on the Youngs Creek battlefield in Centralia, Missouri. This was the site of the Centralia Massacre, which happened in 1864, on September 27th. Here's the Confederate marker. So, basically I'll step on this side, I might give a little shadow, but it's about the warmest day we've had in a while, thank goodness. So, what you're looking at here, this is the Youngs Creek battlefield site, or Centralia Massacre, or Centralia Battlefield, they call it several things. So what happened was, that way, which is where the town of Centralia is, the Confederate Guerrillas, or under William Anderson, Bloody Bill Anderson, stopped the train there and killed a bunch of returning soldiers from the Georgia area, federal soldiers, and pulled them off the train and shot them all dead, pretty much, which was how war was done out here in Missouri at that time. It was all close quarters, no surrender type of warfare, because if you were surrendered, you were hung or shot. It was not like out east, and when you had Robert E. Lee and them marching around in big armies, they would surrender and trade prisoners and do stuff like that. Not out here. This was really neighbor against neighbor type of warfare. So what you're seeing here is the site where the Confederate guerrillas, around 80 to 90 strong, were camped in these woods to your front. They were camped here to the side. These woods were all much bigger then, of course. And they were camped over here. So what happened was after Bloody Bill Anderson and his men ambushed the train in town and burned the depot, they left about 20 guys up in Centralia, and then the rest of them came back to their camp. What they had heard rumors was that there was a Missouri militia company following them under Major A.V. Johnston, and he had about 155 men on horseback. And what happened was, when they got to Centralia, the federal militia, and saw all those dead and murdered Union troops, they got enraged, and Bloody Bill Anderson left behind that small party to lure them here to this spot, which is about 3 miles south of town. So what happened was, the direction we're headed right now, which is to the west, the Union company arrived and dismounted their horses right up here where that marker is ahead of us. What the Confederates did was they lined up about 30, 40, maybe probably 20 to 30 horsemen right there where you see the edge of those woods. They lined up on horseback facing the Union troops. The Union troops dismounted. Every fifth man held a horse. But the problem they had was the Union troops were only armed with single-shot, smooth-bore muskets, which means they had one shot, one volley. So they see these Confederate guerrillas right there, maybe 20 of them, including Jesse James, Frank James, Archie Clement, Many of the well-known members of the James Gang after the war were here. They were part of Anderson's company. They kind of jeered at the Union troops, and the Union troops fired a volley that way towards the Confederates. I think they did kill at least one. But what the Union troops didn't know was that from there, and from there was all filled with Confederate guerrillas on horseback, just waiting. And the minute they fired that volley, they come roaring out of the trees, each armed with 6 to 8 revolvers. And they just mowed down the Union or Federal militia right here in this field. Not only did they mow them down, they murdered them. They massacred them. They mutilated them. They chased many of them all the way that way towards a town called Spurgeon, which is the other side of Centralia. There weren't many survivors. That's all I can say. Walk up here to this Union Memorial. We're coming up to the Union Memorial of the 39th Missouri, which lost 123 men that day here on this field. The battle was over in 3 minutes, flat. Here it kind of shows the casualties from each company. And what's not known is most of these men weren't even from back east. These were Missourians. These were fellow Missourians that were from the Paris, Missouri area mostly. Over here on this side of the memorial, it lists the casualties. This was bloody warfare out here in Missouri. Not many know this, but Missouri is one of the top 3 most fought over states during the Civil War. If you can imagine, if you were out here on foot and so all of a sudden these guys came at you firing pistols at you, over 80 of them, that'd be pretty terrifying. Those guys didn't have a chance, not with a smoothbore musket. So you can imagine this field just filled with bodies, because that's the way it was. They said you could jump from body to body and never touch the ground. Okay, I'm going to stop this for now, and I'm going to do a few ITC things. See you online. Bye.